Okay, it started.
All right, welcome back to Mel 601. Tonight is going to be a shorter session than usual because we did last night's session. You have where I covered the AppTel in depth last night. That was the plan for this week. I've got a couple other things that I want to cover in depth with you tonight. The first is the process of wrapping up your app sale. I covered this last night. I'm going to cover it again tonight. You don't have a Dropbox for the final evidence narrative that looks like the others. You have a Turnitin Dropbox. You get your grade through that Turnitin Dropbox. As you can see, I've clicked on one. You'll get your grade just like you did on the task. You'll get your grade for the final document. We'll also tell you it's ready to submit in TaskStream. You'll go to My Grades, where you'll get that message, just like you got your grades when you submitted each of your tasks or each of your peer reviews in the assignment Dropbox. But there is an assignment Dropbox for the final evidence narrative, but it says turn it in because we're doing two things, two functions. We're giving you your grade, and you can see the grade screen here, but we're also looking at your score to make sure that you're under the 40 threshold, and right here that you are. You will not get this. Don't ask me, don't call me. Don't try to go to turn it in yourself. You will not. They will not give you a score report because you have not paid for it. We only pay for the instructor to get the score report because we don't want it to become another issue. Just like with this one, I see 27. I just close that. Tell the student that it's excellent. Submit for evaluation. Submit. They can go to My Grades now, and it'll be there. That's all we have to do. I don't want to make turn it in another whole ordeal. And so that's how that works.
And Dr. Lamb, and they need to know too that once it gets to that point, it doesn't take you or me long because we have already looked at all that work many times before.
That's what I mean. We're not going to go in that report where it's broken down. As long as the number is good, we're just going to move it along. Now, if the number's over 40, then we're going to have to go in and figure out what's wrong and help you with that. But if you don't, when you get your score back and it says 100 excellent, submit for evaluation in TaskStream, you know that your score is less than 40. Your originality score is less than 40% previous submitted work, and we're just going to keep moving. We don't have time to start the process all over again. We've got to keep moving on with our work. So please remember, you get your score when you put it in, turn it in. I've had another email today. Where do I submit mine for my score? Well, you submit it and turn it in. It has two functions: to give you your score and to check for originality. We do those at the same time. That means less work for us. I don't know if you folks know it or not, but Dr. Stedman and I are old. We rarely sleep. We grade work every day. And so
very good.
We have to.
Can you read those letters to Gigi?
We have to. Let me mute everybody. We have to find ways to work more efficiently, and so that's what we do. We can't make the Creator Studio we can't make that Creator Studio in Turnitin another whole function for us to have to manage. We only go in and break your paper apart on the final one if that score is over 40. That rarely happens, and so we just keep the train moving. All right, I covered the AppTel last night. Please remember, under your templates, I've got your template here for you to work. I have not posted you an example. I have one. I have everything. But I'm not going to give it to you because I want you to use this template to create your document like you did before. You don't need the example. You know what you're doing. Let me catch this question right quick. There you go. The bottom one goes to professor's degree, then they tell you to submit, and then you can use the top link on Turnitin. There you go. So we just need for you to submit yours and keep us rolling here. The grades are starting to come back in task stream. The lowest I've seen is a 3.8. I've seen a lot of 4.0s from the state grading. We haven't had anybody who's been returned for revision so far. I would say not would, but that's asking for luck. We don't need to be lucky. We have a plan and we're working hard. You folks are working the plan. Luck's got nothing to do with it. If you follow the rubric and follow the templates and all the materials we've given you, you're doing the work. The feedback has been wonderful so far. The scores have been great. I have no complaints. I have no cause for any alarm whatsoever. I know that you'll take this template and you'll do just as good a job with the APTEL. So very pleased with the feedback that we're getting so far. We've had, I don't know, more than a dozen turned in already and graded. It's going very well. Some of the best work I've seen.
And Dr. Lamb, a 3.8 is an excellent score. So don't think that is excellent. And remember, we have several different outside evaluators, so you don't have the same person looking at your work. Some people have different people, but 3.8, you don't have to hold your head down. That's excellent work.
That's great work. That's great work. I mean, so far we haven't had one below. I mean, most places are struggling to get 3s. You know, we're angry when we get one less than a 4. But that's the standard that we have. That's why our folks get jobs, and that's why you do well in your jobs, is you're prepared well. We try to, as best we can, mimic or replicate the process that you're going to go through when you get your job. It doesn't do any good to hold you to one standard during your preparation program and then another standard when you're out in the real world. We try to hold you to the same standards. We're grumpy old men. We hold you to the same standards that your bosses are going to hold you. That's just the way it works. And so I'm very pleased with your scores. And so I'm quick to get on you when you don't do the things you need to. I need to be quick to get on you when you do the things right. So I'm very pleased and thankful that you're doing what you're doing. All right. As I told you last night, one of the things that I want to do tonight is introduce you to a new little system that we've got in place. Now, this is completely optional. This is if you have not spent a lot of time going into classrooms and looking at lessons and using a checklist or a rubric to grade that lesson. I've hooked up with our undergraduate people, and they have graciously let us get into their Google Drive folder of their Ed 250 students doing mini lesson plans and mini lessons. I did one today. It took me about 15 minutes to do it. And it was very good in terms of reminding me. Now, they have a little lesson plan, a 6-point lesson plan rubric that they have to follow. Now, you won't be following that rubric when you go out. You'll be following something like that, a checklist of things that your district is looking for when they do walkthroughs. They're doing 6-point lesson plans, and that's the reason I'm in this folder, because it's quick. I don't want this to take you more than 15 minutes. Now, I have not loaded it in our class shells yet. I will after tonight because I didn't want people in it until I showed it to you. I have it hid in another shell, and so I'm going to go ahead to that shell and pull it up. This is what it's going to look like. And it's going to be in your class shells as of tomorrow. Let me find my clinical shell here. It's going to say EDUC 250 pre-interview teaching. And when you click on that link, it has an explanation of what you're going to do. When you open this link to Google Docs, you'll find the list of Gardner-Webb undergraduate teacher education candidates. When you double click on the candidate's name, you will find that each candidate has prepared a written lesson plan. You are to use the Google Doc link below to assess that lesson plan. That's what when we talk about. You go into a classroom doing a walkthrough, you've got a checklist of what you're looking for. That's the checklist right there. We've done it in Google Docs form, so it'll be really easy for you. And then once you've done that, there is on the bottom of the lesson plan, there's a link to a YouTube video, and they're like 5 or 6 minutes long, where you actually see them teach that lesson plan. And then there is a link here where you click on, again, a Google Doc form where you assess how well they did on the delivery of the plan. And what this does is get you practiced in understanding that how to assess what they're doing. You might want to look at their lesson plan when you walk in to do the walkthrough. Most of the time, what you do is the first thing you do when you do a walkthrough is as you look for the teacher's lesson plan. It's supposed to be on their desk. You look at it to see what they're doing, and then you watch them teach for a while. It's the same format. This is how you do it. You look for their lesson plan, and then you look to see if they're following that lesson plan. That's what a walkthrough is. It's a fidelity check. This is what they're supposed to be teaching. This is what they're teaching. Do the two match? That's what a fidelity check is. That's called formative assessment. That's what you do as an administrator. If you've not done a lot of it, this would be a good way to get a little practice in. Do a couple. Now, when you pick them, try to pick somebody whose last name, the letter of their last name starts with yours. That way we don't all do the first one. So if your last name is Lamb, like mine, pick somebody in an L. If you're Smith, pick an S. That way we kind of distribute the ones that we do. Hopefully Dr. Todd's group is going to join our two groups, and we're going to do, hopefully we're going to get a few of these done and get some practice in this. So let me show you. So what I would do, this is the system that I would follow. I would open up this rubric to begin with. My name, and then I would simply go back and I'll open up the rubric again for the video, and I would go back, and then I click on the candidate folders link. All right, and it's going to give me a list of students. I'm going to find one whose last name starts with an L. There's one. And I'm going to double click on her name. And there's her template, her lesson plan. And I'm going to read through her lesson plan. And down at the bottom, there's going to be a link for me to copy and paste for me to watch her video. And so I've got my rubric up here to assess her lesson plan. Pre-interview while observing the candidate teach, and this is for the lesson plan. So here's my lesson plan rubric, and here's her lesson plan. And so I read through this, and her objective is here. Recognize the name and several letters of the alphabet, especially those in their own name and the names of others who are important to them. And then she's got each of her 6 points. And so what I do is I read the first one, focus and review. And I put that one's name on there, goals and objectives, focus and reviews. So she met the expectation. I'll put her name on there. What was her name? Lindsay Lane. Okay, she met that expectation. Her goal was on there. Right here it is. Right here it is. Right here's her goal. Right here. And then focus and review. Does she review prior learning? Let's see if she does that or not. Remember yesterday. So she does that. So that meets the expectation. And you can give them some written feedback if you want to. Okay. Then the next one, instructions delivered clear, concise, accurate, and the appropriate level for the age group. All right. Let's see. You're able to turn your letters and name the names of people around you. That appears to be age appropriate. And then she's going to learn how to use recognize and mom and dad. We'll start with mom and dad, guided practice. Can anyone tell me what letters are in mom? Writes it on the board, does have an M, 2 M's, what other words, letters? And so, and she has them sounded out. She does all the proper things here, so that looks appropriate to me for the grade level she's working in. Her teacher input looks good. Her guided practice. Looks good. Her independent practice while giving out the papers out to raise their hands when they see their name. I will circulate around the room while children work together to say the letters in their name. Okay, that appears to be appropriate for what they're doing, meets the expectation. Okay, independent practice. All right, so it all looks good. It's all there. I mean, it's just that quick. All right, so it's all there. And if you want to give individual feedback, your thoughts on each of those, that's fine as well. But the main thing here is to make sure that we've got alignment. Does she have the things there that she's supposed to have? This is how, again, this is how you use a rubric for scoring.
Dr. Lamb.
Match the two up. Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Lamb, if it meets expectations, you can put an explanation, but that pretty much tells you they're doing what they're supposed to do. I would suggest that if it does not meet expectations, if it's moving towards it, you need to tell why it did not meet expectations.
Yes.
And if it succeeds, then, you know, what did you see? Because that wouldn't be everything that you see, but what did you see that made you think that it was more than meeting expectations? So I would think that those areas would require at least a comment.
Well, on the written one here, I just put good. Now, where I'm going to really give her some comments is when I watch what she does.
Okay.
Follow it. So,
Okay.
first thing, that's the plan. Is the plan aligned? Is it a sound plan? Yes, it is. But that's just the first part. Now we got to see if she delivers that lesson well. Let me answer a couple questions here. Yes. Dr. Crawford has weighed in. Grade level alignment is critical. There's an app I use called NC Essential Standards that allows me to search the standards and assess whether I see a walkthrough is actually aligned to the grade level standards. Absolutely. What I was talking about, you got to do that alignment. You've got to make sure that what they teach, what they're going to teach, aligns with the standards and is grade level appropriate. That's why I said this looks appropriate to me. Now, I'm not an expert. It's been a long time since I was an elementary principal, but I did do a little pre-work today and actually reviewed the standards. So I woke up in time to do a little bit today. And so those look good to me. But if you don't know what the standards are, there are things out there that can help you with those as a principal. But that alignment is critical. Doesn't matter how good a job we do teaching it, if that's getting aligned with the standards, and that's not what we're going to be tested on later. So I did a little work this morning to make sure that these standards were aligned. This is what they were supposed to be doing. I had Dr. Wesson to help me to make sure that that looked good. That's why I said I'm going to go through and make sure this alignment is correct on the written plan. And so the question here is a growth plan based on an area within Martin, for example, yes, Marzano's 9 should be represented in your growth plan. Just to clarify for the APSL, are we creating a growth plan centered on best practice deficit? Yes. That's why you're doing that analysis in task 2 between what you've got and what you're supposed to have, the expected. That's the whole idea here. And now, once we have worked with them on best practices, we're going to work to give them teacher leadership roles by having the best one teach other leaders or teach other teachers. Again, we can't put them on the school improvement team, but our goal here through the APTEL is to identify our best practitioners of best practices and then have them teach others, because that's the first level of empowerment as a school-wide leader, according to Whitaker, is to teach other teachers. Now, that's as far as we can take it, but at least, so we're building a culture of teaching and learning. Our teachers get taught, get better in their classroom so they can hopefully at some point become emerging school-wide leaders, but we're also looking for people to give them the opportunity to teach others as well, to get them started on that continuum of school-wide leadership. So yes, our growth plan should include, we're going to teach these people these things, these best practices, and these are the people who are going to do it. The person's responsible because they're our best ones. And we've killed two birds with one stone. We're getting better in our classrooms, and which is classroom empowerment, but we're getting better, we're making the connection for our building that our best teachers are going to be rewarded with leadership positions in the building outside of their classroom. We have to make that connection. We can't just identify, well, we need work in these areas of the 9 high yield strategies. Let's go get somebody else to come in and do it. No, we want to harness that intellectual property, that leadership that we have in our building already. This shouldn't cost you anything. This is to maximize what you've got in your building already. I mean, that's the whole notion here. We're not going to go out and pay $1 million for some group to come in and do something to us. We're going to raise ourselves, and we're going to raise ourselves up. But what we're working on here is a culture of teaching and learning. We're working on a culture of teaching and learning. That the most important thing in our building is teaching and learning. And there's a lot of components to that. Curriculum alignment, Dr. Crawford pointed out, is absolutely essential, that we make sure that we're teaching the right things at the right level, so when it comes test time, we'll get the results that we deserve. One of the things that I have learned about the school business, you get the scores that you deserve. You don't just get them randomly. You get the scores that you deserve through the hard work that you do. And so now I have assessed her written plan. Now I would go here and I would copy this link. And this one's 10 minutes long. Wow. Now I'm going to assess how good a job she does delivering this lesson. And then once we can actually go back and remember, and we can look and see what are we looking for here. Supportive relationships with students, provides a positive, respectful environment. All right, so you've got it, and then of course you would fill this one out. This Google Doc, you would fill it out. And what they're looking for here is student engagement and tasks are focused on the understanding of skill and strategy. Candidate supports and contributes to student learning. Candidate engages all students and uses appropriate voice and tone. Candidate links previous learning to new content. Candidate provides evidence of assessment during the learning segment. Now, this is basic level. This is not as high level as looking for best practices, questioning, including all cooperative learning and all that. But this will get you in the habit of using assessment, using a tool, using a rubric And then watching this, you may want to go back a couple of times. And it's not as easy as it looks to go in and assess a lesson in a walkthrough. It's not nearly as easy as you think it is. And if you've not done it, I would encourage you to do a couple of these. You don't have to do 100. I'd encourage you to do a couple of these to get practiced at this before you start doing walkthroughs in your building. Because if you haven't done these first couple times you do them, when you come back and when you come out, you're like, I don't know what I saw. Did I see that or not? Remember, these are live. There will not be videos that you can go back and look at again. You've got to catch it the first time. So you've got to know what you're looking for when you go in. So when you get your walkthrough instrument from your district, you need to spend some time with that thing and know what you're looking for before you go in. But even though these aren't official walkthroughs that are going to be part of that teacher's evaluation, they're still going to ask you for feedback, or they're still going to want to know what you saw. And you need something better than what looked good to me. You can't do the American Bandstand assessment. Well, I give it an 80. It was easy to dance to and had a good beat. No, you got to give them better feedback than that. Even if these aren't official walkthroughs, you still need to be able to speak the language. What were you looking for? Be able to recognize it quickly on the fly while it's happening live. Not as easy as it seems. Your district, once you get your job, your district is going to put you through intensive training in this. And so don't worry that you aren't really good at it right now. They're going to coach you up and train you up. But for our purposes, what I want you to understand is how difficult it is, because you'll take it seriously and you will devote time and attention to it when it becomes real. You'll understand, this is not something I can just kind of pass off. I'll catch on. I'm smart. I've been in the classroom all these years. I know what I'm doing. It's not as easy as it looks. And so that's why we had you go in and do this, so that when you get your job, one of the first things you'll do is you'll go get trained in how to do teacher observation, that you won't put it off, that you'll understand what a priority it is, and it's not something to take lightly. And so that's the purpose of this in the APTEL. Purpose of this in this Google Docs is to give you some a smaller step into that, to kind of transition you into it, give you the opportunity for that. I think this has value for you, especially if you've not done much of this kind of thing. It does offer value for you. So pick somebody whose last name, same letter as yours, kind of like in the video on the lesson today, so that we don't all do the first one. And spend 15, 20 minutes on these. The assessment of the lesson plan is pretty easy. But spend a little time with the video, assess the video. And one I did one earlier today. I didn't think she did a good job with questioning and cluing. She didn't clue individual students. She kind of threw them out like a game show format. Well, the smart kids answered all the questions every time. You got to call on individual kids. She needs some work on her questioning and cluing. That is one of the 9 high yield strategies. You don't just ask questions to the general class all the time. You need to call on individual students, because it's the T. The kids down the middle and across the back, they'll never answer. The other kids will shout out the answer all the time, like game show format. Well, that's not a valid assessment of what every kid in the room knows. Questioning and cluing should be directed to individual kids. You learn things like that if you do a little work with Marzano. We've got some of Marzano's materials in our shell for you to use. So let me go to that, and I see my time is running short here, and we'll be through.
Dr.
We
Lamb.
do have Marzano materials. Yes, sir.
Now, at some point, I know we don't have Zoom next week because it's fall break. When we come back on the 30th, either the 30th or sometime after that, can we take a few minutes of one of our sessions and have some testimonials from some of the students after they've had a chance to do this?
Yes.
Let's talk about their experience. I think that would be good.
Okay, so that was to Jessica. That went to Dr. Crawford. Jessica, the question is, no, you don't have to wait. We don't do peer reviews on Task 5. Task 5 does not have to be peer reviewed. It's your reflection. Once you get to Task 5, you just keep moving. But yes, Dr. Stedman, I think it'd be a good time next week to see how students, if they thought this had any value. I did it today myself, and I thought it did, but that's just me.
So when we come back on the 30th, some of them will have done it, so maybe we can spend a few minutes on the 30th with some testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if any of you are willing to do a testimonial, just send Dr. Lamb or me, either one of us or both of us, a message and let us know that you are willing to make some comments, and we'll call you out.
Yeah, and I will put this in our shells tonight, so that you'll be able to get started on this. I wanted you to see how it worked before I put it in, and because that Google Doc is live, so don't be in there monkeying around. Make sure that you go in and do what you need to do the right way. Let me go back to one of the class shells. Okay. 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 That link has no content. I'll have to fix that. For your screenshot, I'll fix that in a few minutes so that you can put your screenshots in there. Okay. Later tonight, I will under AppTel template and materials, I will put a couple of Marzano documents that if you're not familiar with the high yield strategies, I'll put a couple Marzano documents in here for you. They'll be in there in just a few minutes. If you're not familiar with Marzano, the 9 high yield strategies, I'll upload those. All right, Dr. Stedman, we're not coming back online Thursday night, are we?
I don't, unless you think so, I don't think there's a need for it. I think that they need to go ahead and they know what they've got to get done. They can reach out to us if they need us, but most of them, or all of them, they seem to be right where they need to be right now. So.
Yeah, we just need to go. We just need to work. All right.
Now, when we come back after the break, everybody should be called up. Everything should be submitted. If there's a problem, you need to communicate with Dr. Lamb and me personally. If there is a problem beyond that, other than that, we expect everybody to be called up when we come back after fall break next week.
Yep.
But again, I too have been very, very pleased with the work that has been the final submissions of the ones that have come in so far.
All right. I think that'll do us then. I'm going to go ahead and close this out for the evening. Thank you all for joining us. Dr. Crawford, glad you were with us. You might want to, Dr. Crawford, you might want to share with us, if it's possible to share with us that alignment link that you were talking about, if that's something that we could actually access.
Oh God, yeah, it's in the App Store. So just go, if you have an iPhone, just go to the App Store and type in NC Essential Standards. You'll see a gold shape of North Carolina with black letters, and yeah, with a black state outline with a gold backing. I'm pretty sure it's in the Android as well, and then you download it, and this way you've got all the essential standards right there in your phone you can carry with you.
That's great.
Thank you, Dr.
Work
Crawford.
smarter, not harder. That's great. Don't have to lug around a notebook with you.
No. Oh, God, no.
That's marvelous. And you can tell. See, I spent 2 hours today trying to make sure that when I was going through these that the standards were aligned with the curriculum and they were the appropriate level. You just carry a phone app with you. You can tell immediately when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I also understand that your district can put the walkthrough checklist on your phone in an app version as well. We don't even, or on a tablet. You just carry it with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can just pop in a room. You have it right there. You look at your central standards, make sure that they're aligned. You got your form right there. Technology is a great time saver. It really is.
Okay.
All right.
Sharon wanted those directions, Dr. Crawford. If you would repeat those directions one more time.
Sure. Just go into whatever device you have. So I have an Apple, so let's go to the Apple Store, and just type in NC Essential Standards. And what you're looking for is a gold backdrop with a black outline of North Carolina, and just hit download.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
NC Essential Standards.
That's it.
That's it. Excellent.
And Dr. Crawford, between now and when we come back after fall break, with the APTEL, since you are a practicing administrator currently, if there's anything that you can think of that will make it the APTEL better, feel free to join in. We'll put materials in their material box. Anything that you have that you think would help, feel free to let Dr. Lamb and me know. We'll be glad to put it in there for them.
Oh yeah, I'm going to under template materials right now. I'm going to upload 2 Marzano documents for you, and build content. But yes, Dr. Crawford, if you've got something as a practice just like that one, see that's the value of having somebody that's in the building right now.
Exactly.
We used to carry notebooks around with us, make sure we had alignment. Now you've got an app on your phone. And so it's going to make life much easier, but you got to have that alignment. Doesn't matter how good a job they're doing if they teach the wrong stuff. So that's what we're doing. So that's what I'm telling you. Walkthroughs is not as easy as it seems. There's more to it than just walking in and looking around and seeing what they're doing and then walking out. We're talking about doing walkthroughs for fidelity checks, assessment. It might not be but 15 minutes, but there's a lot going on, and that 15 minutes is very important. And it's not as simple as it seems. And so we're trying to get you ready for that, get you some practice, get you in there 3 or 4 times this semester, looking at teachers, knowing what you're doing. We want you to be comfortable, number one, but number two, we want you to appear to know what you're doing when you walk in. So give this the attention that it needs. All right.
There were
three or 4.
Yeah.
MTSS for MTSS for teachers is state approved. It is for that is a legal, that you can do that legally in terms of the action plans and those things. It does meet the personnel requirements in North Carolina. So feel free to use it how you need to. Thank you for the feedback on that, on the MTSS for teachers that I shared last night. So good stuff. We will see you again when, Dr. Stedman? When's the next time that we'll be on time with these?
October the 30th.
Oh, man. October the 30th.
That's Tuesday week.
All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks then.
Oh.
Everybody work hard. Take you a few days for your family. Prayers to everybody still struggling with all the storms, but take you a little time. But make sure that when we come back in 2 weeks that you're all caught up. Keep doing the work that you're doing. We're proud of you and the scores that you're getting from your state grading. All is well. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Dr. Lamb,
Yes, sir.
I'm just about done with that Blackboard course. I'm just waiting
Good,
on
because
feedback.
I've got something new for you. I actually, let me see, I can come back to this later. I have you a shell now. I had it got it today. I have you a intern shell where you can work with students individually. It mirrors our class shell where you can go in. Look at there. Mel's clinical internships, Crawford, came in today, hot off the press.
Okay.
Do I need to close out, Dr. Lamb?
Yeah, you can go ahead and close it out.
I can leave it, okay.
Crawford, when
Okay,
you
bye,
get
Dr.
through,
Crawford.
just let me know because I'm ready for you. Great, thank you.